As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
The Pacific Experience Podcast.
Hello, Lloyd.
What's up, man?
Yes, we're back on another Wednesday.
We're back.
Fuck yeah, I miss you.
We're back and alive. Missed you, man. What is it? It's November 14th. Here we are, Pack X Podcast. This is episode 28. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to all of you fans. You are fantastic. Woo!
Yes,
You guys are
people
great.
that keep supporting us, listening to us, downloading us, talk to us. You guys don't really talk to us. That's okay. Maybe intimidated, or you may just not know what the fuck to say. I don't care.
Well, the 3 people listening, really appreciate all the hard work.
2 of them
Just
being
kidding.
us. Yes.
2 of them, yeah, exactly. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You can check us out at packxpodcast.com. You can also go to our Facebook, which is at packxpodcast.
Yeah, Instagram, PackXPod, correct?
Yep, that's right.
There we go, man.
And our Gmail, pacificexperience@gmail.com. So, Austin.
Yes,
Dude,
Lloyd.
there's a lot of shit going on.
I'm stoked. There's a lot, but first, I have to address something
What's
first.
up, man?
For
What's
what
up?
everybody out there is wanting to know, probably. So, Thanksgiving is coming up, correct?
I
It
believe
is.
so.
Yeah, so 3rd November, or 3rd Thursday of November, next Thursday, right?
Yeah.
24th. Don't put out your Christmas decorations. I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of
okay.
it. I hate it. I hate all of it. We go from Halloween straight into Christmas, straight into Holly Jolly Santa. Thanksgiving is a great time of year. You get to eat
Mr.
food.
fucking Grinch here.
No, I'm not
coming
Mr.
on the
fucking Grinch.
podcast.
I'm a
Grinching
I grew
up,
up
man.
in the 90s. What do you expect? I love it. I love the holiday where you get to...
I love the holiday!
I love it! I fucking love it! All I want to do is... I don't want a bunch of turkey. I just want a bunch of stuffing because I'm a fat kid. I just want a bunch of stuffing with gravy. And all I want to do is watch football. And I don't even care about football because I had a brother that played football through
Yeah.
college. I don't even watch the goddamn sport.
Because football is
Sick! It's so sick! But all you're required to do at these holidays is eat and be around family members you do or do not like. But that's all you have to do. And people rush it into Christmas full of peppermint
so what,
and
man?
Santa Claus and reindeers.
they're
And I hate it, dude.
they're
I hate
excited
it. I
for the
fucking
holiday
hate it,
spirit.
Lloyd.
They're excited for the
No,
holiday
it's
spirit,
gross.
bro.
It's vomiting down
Oh.
your throat. It's gross.
Oh.
Yeah, they need to wait till after
know,
Thanksgiving.
I actually
if you're-
mentioned to my wife today, I was like, hey, honey, you think that maybe we could take the Christmas decorations out?
Get out of Bob Santa!
I heard the glass shatter.
Can you get the reindeer and the Rudolph and
And
they're just doing stuff together?
just
Can you put that on the front lawn, please?
I just got the penguins out, and I dusted his hat.
It's
I
disgusting.
think he's ready.
Leave it till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We do not need to be this hurried. It's gross.
It's okay, man.
Because you know what? One of the best parts about Christmas and Thanksgiving, too, is the Costco deals. The pumpkin pie at Costco
Yeah.
is great.
It is, but we're gonna have mini
But
Christmas.
how can you enjoy pumpkin pie at Costco if you're eating it from October 31st till the end of November? That's disgusting.
Yes.
You're fucked up. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Just be a normal person.
I've already finished like 5 things of eggnog.
God,
you think that's bad?
I can't. Yeah, I wish you should have just kept that to yourself. I've seen it in the stores. Yes, it's there, and I enjoy
Bro,
it.
I bought that shit like a month ago. They
Yeah.
had it at Costco, and I was like, honey, 2! You buy one, get one! Yeah,
You look
it
so
was-
haggard and
Oh, dude.
overweight.
That Christmas spirit, man. Anyways, let's not contradict ourselves
no.
here. Poor people listening in.
Yes.
We have plenty of time to talk about
There's
Christmas.
plenty of things to talk about.
But there's a lot of shit going on right now in the United States and on the West Coast and in the Northwest. Austin,
Bring it
take
off.
us away.
So I'm
What do
going
we
to take
got?
it to something close to home because after that I'm going to go to something to outer space.
I fucking love that shit, dude.
But
yes.
no, the California wildfires.
So
insane.
sad.
Insane.
Sad. Yeah.
What I think is funny about it too, and not just because of how it's been handled, but so of course our president Donald Trump made the comment about, oh well, this wouldn't happen due to mismanagement, and I think the time that we live in, and just like Joe Rogan said, it's a wild time. Like anything can happen. It's great.
Yeah.
Our president said that this is due to mismanagement, and he didn't bother to check that the government runs 98% of the lands in California.
Really?
Yeah,
98%.
two
So
per-
98% as in
so
what?
all the
does
forest,
that include,
all
like,
the
national
forest,
park?
yeah, forest,
Okay.
national park, public lands,
All of it.
government controlled.
Okay.
So like there is a government
what's
of California,
the opposing
but
of that
they
98?
are 2%. 2% is
Right, but
what
that
is
2%
owned by the
is-
state of California, that is run by the government of California, as opposed to the 98% that is run by the U.S.
By the
government
national
and then
government.
dictated to the state of California.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Interesting. So only 2% of California land is actually California government's.
yeah, and
land.
I think
Very
what,
interesting.
So what caught me off guard, don't be, because tis the season, the egg, but. I think what was most appalling to people is that this wildfire started, and it rapidly advanced.
Right.
It was high winds, dry conditions, and it just started eating up towns. I mean, dude, hundreds of thousands of people got displaced. It's now up to 48 deaths. It's one of the highest. I think it's the highest death recorded. I mean,
Oh, overnight, I have a news article. I took a screenshot. A news article saying up to 3 deaths. The next morning, I check it. There's another article saying 14 deaths. I check it again. The next day, it's at 22.
yeah, dude, it just keeps doubling.
Yeah.
It's not to put people in a down mood, but what's horrific is dry conditions and high winds. People don't realize how fast that can move. And I worked at REI, and I worked with a lot of wildland firefighters, and I had quite a few employees talk about being in fire vehicle trucks, driving away from fire scenes where literally the fire is going faster than the truck, and they're flooring it. Like
That's insane.
Winds and all that, like it's no joke.
There's
It
a lot
will
of
literally-
videos posted lately, man, and
and
you watch it, and
that's
it's terrifying.
The horrifying thing is that a lot of these deaths, like, they're finding people just burned up in cars, like literally trying to leave the place, and they just get overcome.
That's fucking
So,
sad.
what was most interesting for me to see, and I say interesting because I can't sit here and get pissed because that's already a feeling, but for him to, for Trump to come out and talk about the mismanagement, but people are dying, it's very unsympathetic, and that's what a lot of world leaders have hit on. Is
I
that
agree.
like, wow, you're still turning into this, you're turning this into like a political thing, like a politicking fucking issue,
Right.
when people are dying. I mean, can you imagine if a terrorist attack happened, or maybe like a group of soldiers got killed, and he turned
Regardless,
it into a politic.
People losing their lives.
It's not something
That's the
you
biggest thing.
use for
We're not
your
upset.
fucking re-election.
Yeah. We're not upset. People are not upset about specifically about property being burned. Of course, that's there. But the main thing to us who are not there and who are hearing and watching and listening
I think
about
just
it,
being a human,
it's hearing exactly. It's being a human. It's hearing that there's lives are being taken,
Yeah.
and that's always fucking sad.
So-
Regardless of the fucking situation.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't-
know when it's not sad.
Doesn't have to be
It's
a-
always fucking sad. No matter who it is, what they did, where they are, what they're doing, or why it's happening, it's fucking sad.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a fire in California. It's just the fact that, people are losing their lives, and it becomes another political sort of standpoint to try and get votes. I think that's what's most disgusting, and definitely a lot of people have expressed that in terms of like, wow, they're using this as a platform to like, oh, this is why you should vote our way. No, this is just is a sad thing to happen in the world, and it should not be based on politics or government. Like,
I
there
agree.
should not be used as a leverage point for you to get an edge.
Well, I hope everyone involved and anyone
But-
involved, which is a lot of people, I hope everything just
Yeah,
my
I will
prayer-
say
my
this.
prayers go out.
I don't have it in front of me because I have this other article in front of me. There's a bunch of sort of help points to give to California firefighters in terms of like giving shelter to animals, giving shelter to firefighters, like wildland firefighters, places to stay, places to sleep, food and water, shelter. It's all on the interweb, and you should go look at it. I've already donated money to it because it's something I believe in, and just should be done.
So, what website is that? Can you? Let's post that. We'll post that
it
on
at the
the
end
Facebook.
of the podcast.
Yeah, we'll post it at the end on the
we'll
Facebook.
put
and
links on it
Instagram.
because there's a bunch of them, and a bunch of celebrities like Rainn Wilson from The Office, Olivia Wilde has donated. A bunch of celebrities have linked it. There's a lot of people helping out, but if you can, even $10, like you should help out because it's not a cool thing that's happening.
Yeah.
But so on to what I was going to talk about, because we talked about aliens. Aliens, Roswell, and was it Patient 27?
Patient 17.
Patient 17.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about alien abductions last week, and Lloyd turned me on to this documentary. I have not yet to watch it, but so we were talking about a CNN article that talked about an object that passed through Earth's atmosphere, and so it came through. It came through at a high plane on the sun. Did not have a comet tail, which means that no debris was breaking off it.
Right, which means it was not moving at the velocity or speed that a comet, as we know of, that can move when coming into our solar system.
Yeah, and the biggest argument was that so when comets come into our solar system and they have a tail, debris is breaking off, and so they move faster because they are now lighter.
Right.
It's
gaining speed as it speeds up.
Because it's zero gravity, so the less mass you lose, the more you will continue to move at a faster rate.
And so Elon
in
has
layman's
said,
terms.
and so
in drunk layman's terms, that's what it means.
And so also in space, essentially too, you can something doesn't need as much thrust as it normally would, of course, when it's within Earth's atmosphere. Because you can just give it a tap and it can keep going and going and going because there's nothing to stop a simple piece of mass that is moving. So you give it speed that is also increasing, mind you. That's just quadrupling its effect.
Yep. And the interesting thing was about this is that, so, like we were talking about in terms of conspiracies, scientists came out and said that this was not an alien object. That's what they said. They were like, this is not at all an alien object. But then they also said that this was nothing that they have ever seen before, ever, because it didn't make sense in terms of how comets or asteroids move, the trajectory, and the thing
there's no explanation for it. We've never seen it before, but it's not aliens,
which is because I can understand that a little bit because you're trying to, I guess, play the politics or be professional where you can't.
Who are you? Who's going to be the one that fucking says it's aliens?
Which is the thing with science.
Which guy at which university is going to say that?
Which is the thing with science, where they have to be definitive about something before they actually define it for what it is. And if there's any error of doubt, and I mean like 0.1%, they will say like, we can't definitively say that this is aliens, but 99% says that this is something we've never encountered or seen ever, which is true, because this thing came in out of interstellar space. It came in at a really odd trajectory behind the sun. It flew into our gravitational pull.
Yep.
It flew out of our gravitational pull
itself out
at a much faster rate than it came in and just disappeared.
Yep.
At a different trajectory.
It came in, grabbed a handful of chips, and got the fuck out.
Yeah, and dude, Stanley died, and so they took So what I think is that these aliens came through, they zapped up Stanley. Great, rest in peace. He's not really dead, but rest in peace. Stanley created multiple DC Marvel characters.
Okay.
Comic book writer.
Oh, right.
Beautiful.
Right,
Excelsior.
Right. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
My whole conspiracy, even though he probably is dead. This alien.
I'm gonna pick your brain on that one.
Yeah, I'm just making this up. I just hope Joe Rogan or somebody picks it up. But yeah. Alien probe came in. Stan Lee saw he was old, but he wasn't dying. So what they did is they zapped him up and they put down a super short Earth clone of him to die in the public's eye, so they could have Stanley's knowledge for him to do whatever he wanted on other alien planets and write other great miraculous.
You think so?
Fucking comics.
That's fucking bizarre,
yeah,
man.
I'm throwing it out there.
I believe it.
But yeah, dude,
I'll believe
Stan Lee
it. Why
was
not?
fucking great. Rest in peace to a great mind artist, storyteller, everything. I mean, Spider-Man, George Lucas. Like, people look at George Lucas being like, "Oh, Star Wars is great." Stan Lee created universes. George Lucas created Star Wars. Stan Lee created universes of superhero characters. I mean, literally, like, took Star Wars and multiplied it by 10, 20, 30 billion. It's
That's
like,
a good point, man.
motherfucker was brilliant. And he was smart in terms of creating universes, which is nice because, so we talked about aliens last time.
Yes, we did.
So those of you that listened in, we discussed, we talked about the Roswell incident. We talked about what was coming through Earth's atmosphere, and where Harvard scientists said they didn't believe it was an alien, but the information they gathered didn't dictate that it was anything natural.
That's correct.
That they had seen. So, as I'm reading about wildfires and just trying to find a positive note, and what do? I turn to National Geographic on my phone, and lo and behold, oh my goodness. Enter your passcode. There we go. Use my facial recognition, to which creepy technology is now enabled.
Yeah, China started it, man.
So, I read this article called Potential Super Earth Found Nearby After Decades-Long Hunt, which piqued my interest because we were talking about aliens, and we were talking about, intergalactic systems, and I think for everyone, too, when you look at, is there life outside of Earth, but the biggest thing is that if there could be life outside of Earth for humans, we have to find something similar to Earth in another solar system or another planetary system. So this talks about, briefly. Yes, correct. So I'll briefly read a little bit. Just 6 light years away, a frozen world seems to be orbiting a small, dim red star. If it's truly there, the alien planet would at least partly fulfill a fantasy decades in the making, and it could become one of the most promising targets for astronomers keen on getting to know the many worlds beyond our solar system. So what they're talking about when they say dim red star is a dwarf red star, which is what our planet or our solar system resides around, is a dying or a dwarf red star, and that's what you need. And the this article is not fairly long, but I'm just skimming it.
Yeah, man. Dude, I mean,
Here we go. So the illustration. Illustration shows the relative distance of Barnard's star, which is not the fictional, but this is the star in question in terms of, like, the planetary system. And it says in the Alpha Centauri system from our solar system. So Alpha Centauri is our sun, and it's projecting our Earth's axis, but like our rotation around the sun. And so we're called Proxima Centauri to Alpha Centauri. So Alpha Centauri, A and B, is the sun. Proxima Centauri is us as the planet Earth. Barnard's star is this red dwarf, but the thing that they're most interested about is that there's other smaller planets very close, and so they have this diagram, which if we had video you could see, but so it gives you a range of 2 light years, 4 light years, and 6 light years. But so Barnard's star is on the edge of the 6 light years, but there's also 2 red, I would say, Proxima Centauri, if it's going to be relatable, because it is, because they talk about these planets having water, having oxygen, in the same range as the 6 light years, which means it's in the same axis of rotation. And the biggest thing about
Earth,
that,
its
for
Earth days is 200. Has 233 Earth days to complete an orbit.
Yeah, complete an orbit.
Yeah. So very similar
so
to.
It's super similar because we're at 364, 365, 365.
Yeah, 365.
So the biggest thing is that when people are talking about trying to find another planet to be inhabitable, you have to have key things in terms of you have to have the sun.
It's got to be. It's got to be in the habitable zone.
Yes.
So it can't be too cold. It can't be too warm. It also has to have. And the way that we can tell that is by its wobble effect. And the wobble effect is basically when you're looking through a telescope and you see If it has a moon, that means it has its
Gravitational
atmosphere,
pull.
gravitational pull, right? Which means its atmosphere is in a certain way that can, probably maintain air, as depending on its temperature. By air, I mean oxygen. So that's what it takes as far as someone, scientists from Earth concluding, or at least piquing enough interest to say that this could be a habitable planet. And even then, a planet may not entirely be habitable. It may have a habitable zone just within the planet. There have been a lot there. Have you ever heard of the planet Gliese 531?
No.
I think that's what it is, 531. It's something, whatever. This planet was also, dude, I'm gotta brush up on my fucking planet knowledge, but I got through this phase, dude. I went down this rabbit hole of looking into planets that have been discovered and, not talked about. Have you heard of this planet that's made of diamonds?
Like the actual...
All, like diamonds.
Mineral?
It's all diamond.
Wow. No,
Yes.
I am not.
Yes.
Gliese 531.
That's not Gliese 531. Here, let's look this up, man. Here, just look up Planet Gliese. It's spelled, Gleice. Here, I got this on the screen.
Sue's fingers are faster.
581. Is that what I was saying? 531 or 581?
Got it. 581C.
Yeah.
Gliese 581C or GI 581C is a planet orbiting within the Gliese 581 system. It is the second planet discovered in the system. It's the third in order from the star. With a mass at least 5.5 times that of Earth, it is classified as a super Earth. And
This was one of the first ones that we discovered, though. At least that was unknown to the public.
Dude,
as far
what's
as a super
crazy
Earth.
is that we were seeing...
Anything can exist on that fucking planet, dude.
What was crazy is that we were seeing planets like this in like 1916. I shit you not. Reading about this, this article that we're talking about.
Yeah.
This planet, star, and solar system it was first saw in like the 1960s. So
Right.
So even though we didn't understand because we didn't have, whether it was the technology to like dissect and see what we were looking at, we still could see these things and be like, dude, there's something out there that is similar, different, but it's habitable.
Right.
To me, that's what's most interesting.
And that's what makes this fun, man. That's what makes it so awesome.
Especially what's interesting about this, so because we've had other planets too. So when people have been looking out to find an inhabitable place similar to Earth, the biggest thing is oxygen and water. I mean, that is the biggest thing for an
us.
atmosphere.
Right.
Like, you need a livable atmosphere. We can find those things, but the biggest thing is that they're usually so far away from a star, or they're just so far out there that it's beneath miles of ice or layers of ice.
It's just like finding a place to live, honestly. Think about it, on planet Earth. You can't go all the way south. You can't go all the way north. You can, depending on your ability to adapt and the technology that you have. And I don't mean like actual technology. I mean like a fort or a hut or something like that. So where do we live? We live on the center.
Equator.
The equator. We live, that's where we populate, and that's where we, go as a freaking society. So same thing goes for finding a planet that is habitable. It's going to be so difficult in the vastness.
I almost think that's where we should start, is that people think about like, finding a hospitable planet. Yeah, we got to break through a shell.
We have to condition the planet as well as condition ourselves. And I think Mars is, I think, a very, very, very realistic thing, don't you?
Yeah, well, in terms of like proxima to the sun and the rotation, I
All
know
of it,
that
man. It's a dummy. It's just like Earth. It's a fucking old, fucking dried out, fucking cold version of Earth.
Yeah, I know they found remnants of water and whatnot. I think that will be the biggest thing, though, is that so you think about if Mars was at once or if it was once habitable in its rotation, but over time, if it just kept getting so close to where it just dried out, you're talking about like endless dry seasons where you have no water. And I think that's the biggest thing is that as things have like gravitational pull and they have this effect on one thing to another, and especially stars, especially as they go along, a lot of stars are dying. So their gravitational pull gets greater and greater because they're drawing things into them before they expand outwards and implode. I mean, that's what happens to a dying star. And I think with Mars, we may be past that point of it being habitable because it's already had that rotation of it was habitable and it was on that perfect fringe, and then our star is just going out. And the stars can go out for hundreds of years.
Have you heard of the? Okay, so you know of the Dead Sea, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Dead Sea,
That's
by
in
the
the
Dead
Middle
Sea.
East?
Yes.
Where's that at?
Yes, like north of the Middle East.
No, you keep talking.
Okay, no, the Dead Sea I think is I could be wrong. I think that is east from Italy. And farther east from Macedonia. So
Dead
Macedonia
Sea
is
Salt
east
Lake
of Italy.
bordered by
Italy.
Jordan to the east of Israel.
Yes. So yes, I was right.
Yeah.
So the Dead Sea, now on the east corner of the Dead Sea, there is radioactive material within the water. There's also radioactive material on shore. We can Google Earth it, and if you look at it, there is obviously an explosion that happened there. This is a conspiracy. So there's an explosion that happened there. Now
From like weapons?
this is from ancient times. This is such an old explosion that had to have happened.
Crater?
It could have been, yeah. It could have been. I'm not talking like a freaking necessarily a missile with a warhead and everything. Who knows, right? But it has radioactive material. And so, have you heard of the pyramid being discovered on Mars? Seen pictures of this?
No.
Apparently, a pyramid was discovered on Mars. Now, apparently as well, I guess, this radioactive material that is by the Dead Sea and on that is in the Dead Sea. Forgive me. I'm just I'm trying to pull it up here. But that's also the same material that has been found on Mars. So the conspiracy is that the idea behind it is that possibly, we were habitable. We were on Mars. Something was on Mars. Maybe a war happened or something, dude. I think something like that happened. Knowing that radioactive material was found in the Dead Sea has also been found on the Mars planet as well.
Do you think we lived on Mars?
I think so. I think we used to. Not us, something. Dude, I'm so confused from so many conspiracies that I've looked into it that I don't even know anymore, man. They talk about the Anunnaki being the creators. Dude, honestly, I think that we were here long time ago. I think before Homo sapiens were something, and I do think that another species came here to this planet and genetically changed the human race. And I think that they used us in whatever way they needed to, or not, or we were part of them, or whatever. I don't know. Something happened, and then they bounced, and now here we are.
Well, I would...
Beautiful or needed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, it all comes down to survival, I think.
I butchered that Mars thing, man. I don't know. I haven't looked into it in
okay,
forever.
Because we're on the subject, and I would agree. Like what you're getting at, where in terms of do you believe that we've lived beyond Earth? I would agree so too. I would think that the technology we have, and just like we talked about a few episodes ago, in terms of like, do we have a cure for cancer? I believe we have a fucking cure for cancer. We're just a selfish.
We also have the ability to not have
greedy humanity that
have
people want to garner wealth. But if this Earth was going to implode, I guarantee you there's going to be people be out there being like, yeah, we know a planet to get to. We have the transport to get to. We have the means to get to it, to populate it, and actually, I forget that term, but colonize it. There we go.
Colonize.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what the word I was looking for earlier. That threw me in a stump.
Like how can we build mass arsenals of nuclear weapons and not have this fucking technology to possibly travel to another close by solar system and colonize a goddamn planet like Mars? It's dumb. And you're dumb for believing it. I'm not saying you have to fully believe it, but to not think it's in your range of thinking of, is this possible? It totally is possible. And you know what? The richest people probably have it possible. Why would the richest people in the world buy up seed banks deep in the Iceland or Netherlands? Have you ever seen that? I'm only want to touch about it a bit because
I have heard of that. The seed bank up in the Netherlands.
Like, dude, there are these giant fucking vaults built into like ice caves, like literally miles long, and they have all these seeds and like not just like we're not talking about what is it?
This is our modern version of a pyramid. Something that's supposed to last
like
through...
Del Monte Santo.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're talking about.
Anyways, like all the GMO, it's not seeds like that. These are
Right.
organic, actual seeds that are supposed to. The whole point is that when people genetically modify seeds, you're taking away all the natural traits that learn to evolve and grow and to fight diseases and things like that. Because when you genetically modify something to just cater to your being, they become super vulnerable to other viruses and other infections and other things because you're catering it to one specific thing for you to grow well, but then you're not allowing it to be biodiverse as a natural thing to fight off all these other things that can happen because you're just simply changing its genes to be one simple thing. Anyway, so if the rich weren't buying into that, you'd be dumb to think that they don't think they could get off this planet because they totally can. But what's interesting about that, segueing into this, which I saw again today, because, dude, when everything negative is going on in the world, what's a better thing to point to than science is and just to learn? So, I was reading once again on National.
Well said.
I was reading on National Geographic, but this goes on Science News, is they found a giant crater. A giant crater, and I mean this crater's almost a mile wide.
Is this the crater by the Dead Sea?
No, this is a crater in northwest Greenland, and
it's mile long.
Yeah, and what's interesting is it fits a bunch of theories in terms of like the dinosaur extinction for what would happen.
Of course it does.
So
now we should fear meteorites.
I guess I will read this quickly because I don't know how to summarize it because it's in Science News.
National Geographic?
Yeah, it was in National Geographic.
Dude, that's the CNN of freaking...
Well, this is in Science News.
Of magazines. Okay, Science News.
.org. It says Hidden Bowl.
Not .gov.
Yeah. Shut up and just listen. Learn something, goddammit.
I learned so much shit, dude, and I realized everything that I learned was exactly what they wanted me to learn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I bet they all do. Everything is.
Yeah,
I guess what can you say is really true and what's really false except for what you believe.
I don't believe in fucking National Geographic for a fucking second.
Lloyd.
Ever since I saw their stupid cover on UFOs where they're like, let's see, we're going to show you what we think. And the first thing they do is they interview some one-tooth buck fucking hillbilly out of fucking Roswell, New Mexico, and they're like, what's your opinion? I'm like, you're National fucking Geographic. What about, like, the hundreds of people that came out, like, wanting to talk about it? You go to this one, I was like, yeah, I saw something in the sky, all right. And as you can hear his wife, like, getting beaten in the back. Dude, like, I swear, man. Like, so they go interview him. Of course you're gonna watch. Maybe you're gonna be like, that guy's a fucking loony.
Maybe that's what they want you to believe.
They want you to think, dude, it's so fucking obvious the fucking shill work. It's after you grow up on it and then you take the red pill.
Maybe the whole point is where you hide a conspiracy is behind a conspiracy.
Well, that's my point, man. Is they're in on it then?
Are they in on it? Maybe they're trying to project the truth.
I'm not saying every like journalists there is like
television's sake they have to have like. Eduardo, like, talk about, like, what you saw.
Joe Rogan did the same thing.
Joe Rogan did?
Joe Rogan did the same thing with that show he had. And Joe Rogan, God bless you, sir, but I don't know what the fuck happened here. This is the only time I've questioned your loyalty to your fans. Only time ever. In his show, what was it? It's called, like, Question Everything, right? He comes up here to the Northwest. And he's like, is Bigfoot real? I want to know, right? He's like, I'm going to find out if this shit is real. And he makes a show on it called Question Everything. Joe Rogan, quick little show, right? He does the UFO one. He does the same shit, dude. He interviews like two guys who are hard to take serious and who just can't present it well. Like sound like me when I'm trying to talk about this shit, and they're just and they sound like shit. And Joe's like, I don't believe it, and he calls them out the way that Joe does. You're expecting that. You want Joe to because Joe's like, show me this.
Joe is Joe.
Right. Joe is Joe.
Give me Joe Rogan.
But the people he goes to are bullshit, man. Like, dude, Joe Rogan, you interviewed Dr. Stephen Greer on.
Fuck you. He explored it.
He did.
Because sometimes those people are right. You were just talking about the documentary of Patient 17.
Yeah.
Those are what? The dude is a bumfuck country dude who doesn't believe in aliens.
Yeah.
The doctor's pulling out alien bits out of people.
Yeah.
So you're literally arguing against something you're advocating for, Lloyd.
Yeah, I think I know. National
This is why we
Geographic.
podcast.
National Geographic is a fucking shill. I don't believe it.
Do it.
They could warn me of a hurricane. I'm not moving.
Do it. All right, so we gotta wrap this up because we've been on time.
We do. Let's take a break. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna chill the fuck out, or we're gonna duke it out. We'll find out.
I want to talk about this real quick.
Okay, good.
This is not gonna take a long time.
Yeah,
because I don't want to talk about it, so it's okay.
National fucking Geographic.
So, this article talking about this. Yeah, fuck you. It's on sciencenews.org. Listen to it and
It's
learn.
not .gov.
It's .org because they're real people. So this meteor, apparently, from what they're saying in Greenland, crashed, and it's huge. It's bigger than the state of New York for the impact. But the biggest thing about it is, so not only the area in the impact crater, which now when they look at it and now that they believe it's an impact crater, they can see it blatantly from topographical maps, just how the terrain is shaped. They're just like, oh wow, like now that we know, like it's 3/4 of a mile underneath the ice that they started finding soil samples and digging and finding out this was an impact crater. The biggest thing why they think this is an impact crater is this. It's called shocked quartz. And shocked quartz is a crystal deformation that is a signature of massive impact event, which means that, so you have a bunch of minerals, right, in the asteroid.
Yeah.
And when it collides at a high speed into Earth, it's going to, at some point, like, transfer and meld because of just the amount of impact. I mean, just because of the force and everything, it's going to somehow fuse, like, and so they have a picture, but this is their picture of it. It doesn't really fucking mean much to me because I'm just like, oh wow,
No.
it looks like, but when they're talking about they've been taking samples similar to what we were talking about last time, it's materials and minerals that were not found naturally on this Earth that would have to come from an asteroid, that would have to come from interstellar space, that would have to, and what they're talking about, especially impact crater, they want to bring about Pangea and extinction of dinosaurs. This fits really well with that timeline, and especially this impact crater has it has like bleed lines in terms. Yes, it does, Jasmine, Emery. It does. It all makes sense.
I don't believe it.
But where are your boots? Where'd your boots go? No spoon, no boots.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, of course you don't believe it. I don't care if you don't believe
I
it.
don't believe it. Of course. How did they just? How are we just now finding this? What about like Google Earth and shit? How are we just now finding a mile-long
What are
crater?
you talking
what's
about?
this? This is what. Oh, here it is. Like, imagine the guy that who's the fucking genius who spotted it?
What are you talking
Why
about?
isn't his name being highlighted? The guy who found the mile-long fucking crater. That's like on our own planet.
I was just
Dude,
reading it.
that's
You
like,
little turd.
dude, that's like finding like another fucking house
I
in
was
your
just
house
short
that
reading
you've been
it.
living in
You
for
little
like
turd,
40
they had
years.
names in there. Yeah, are you kidding me? I read an article like
I'm
we
sure
talked
there's
about it,
names.
like, a
Yeah,
month
I
and a
know you
half
just
ago.
short read it, but
Some dude just like working in a theater in Italy, and there was an old there was an old vase, and he's like, I'm gonna sweep up this old vase. He broke it up, and there's 500 gold Roman coins in it. What are you talking about? Like, that dude doesn't have a scientific degree. It's just buried there because history happens, and so
Right.
shit like that is.
But
just
how
there.
does that, dude? Okay, back to saying when I was a kid. I swear, when I was a kid, the answers to these conspiracies that I'm questioning now, I knew as a kid because as a kid I questioned them. As a kid, I questioned some of this shit. As a kid, when I went on Google Earth and I just was and just fucking went ham on it for like hours, you know what I mean? Like most of us fucking kids from the 90s. Went over every time growing up. I wondered why Greenland or Iceland, I mean, was completely like painted out. If you looked at it, and I used to show people this, like, why is it? I always questioned what was going on there. I was like, why is this giant slab of Earth that is like half the size of the United States
it's super cold
covered? Right, of course. But when you look at it through all the images, there is nothing there. It's just fucking blotches of white.
Yeah.
It's not actual
Is it
pictures
built
of anything.
It's built on old like glaciers and craters and everything.
But I'm telling you, Austin, it's not that, dude. You could tell at the time. It looked like it was someone who took paint, Microsoft Paint, and took white and just fucking painted over it.
Oh,
It looked absolutely ridiculous,
Do you
dude.
think it's a conspiracy theory
I
built
think
on
that's a
Einstein
giant
babies?
slab of land that is just like Antarctica, dude. Just like Antarctica. It's been hidden from humanity and always will be. And there they could be like, oh, here is where Atlantis is. They can do the
Fuck
same
you, what do you
shit
mean hidden from
under the water.
humanity? Hidden from humanity because it's been built under layers
Because
of ice that are
obviously-
hundreds of feet thick?
Because obviously it's inhabitable. We can't go there and fucking...
Inhabitable. People live there.
Well, no, okay, yes,
People
they do.
live in Antarctica too.
Yes.
Do you realize that a piece
Yes,
of
they do.
Antarctica broke off that was like the size of Maryland?
Okay, and dude, look into it, man. Look into it. Look into all the times where people where boats, tons of things have tried to go towards Antarctica and where they're stopped by whatever.
Don't give
I'm
us-
telling you, man,
Don't
there's
give me
so
this
much shit
Bermuda's
blocked off.
Triangle shit.
Total Bermuda's
God,
Triangle
fuck
bullshit,
you.
man. I'm telling you, man, so much of this earth is blocked off and hidden, has so many wonders to it, dude. I agree. Like, I think it's possible that we can discover something as big as that out of random. I'm just fucking dogging it because it's coming out of National Geographic, and I don't like National Geographic
He
because
hates
whenever
it, dude.
they
He
cover
fucking
something that
hates
I'm
it.
interested in, they fucking make it just look stupid as
Make it
shit.
look dumb.
I hate it.
I agree. They
It's
make it for
fucking it's
publicity.
insulting. Will someone who has the credibility of National Geographic finally take something fucking seriously like a fucking conspiracy for
Please
once?
come talk to Lloyd. Please.
Other than the
Somebody
JFK thing.
from
We're-
National Geographic, get your ass down
Call
here.
me right now. I just asked for it. Men in Black are gonna come fucking slash my tires tomorrow or some
God.
shit. All right, we're taking a break. We're gonna
I would
rile
say take a
down
break,
or
but I
rile
gotta
up.
head home, man. I gotta
Yeah?
get up at 5:30 tomorrow.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're raw dogging it. We're going straight in.
Exactly.
No break. Oh,
But
I
then,
like
you
it.
know what's great is that this is a good point to leave off because now we're gonna talk about Greenland. We're gonna talk about Antarctica. We're gonna talk about National Geographic. Is it a foe or not? Yeah, I'm excited. So, dude, we enjoy you. PackX Pod. Please keep listening in and downloading, talking to us. This is what we love to do. Lloyd and I actually just get together every single week just to bicker and see whose morale is better. And sometimes I leave home crying, and sometimes he stays at his home crying. But, yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, we also. I was saying too. We never. I knew it would come to this. Like, you came in Austin, episode 4.
Yeah.
Episode 4. Where this is episode
It was
28.
a blessing. It was a blessing to come into this, honestly.
And it was. I agree. It was awesome having you and still having you here.
It was great for my life, is what I mean.
Fuck yeah, dude. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Fuck
No,
yeah.
Seriously, when you asked me to be on this podcast, I was like, yeah, dude, this would be fun. And the more I did it, I really just started to enjoy it. And I was like, dude, this is what you don't get to have when you go out to a bar and want to talk to people. Like, this is what you enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what you want to happen. And never
Yeah.
happens. So what do? You just drink Rainiers and you smoke a
Yeah.
little weed and you just talk to your best friend and you're just like, yeah. We're talking
Yep.
about aliens, man.
Yeah, dude.
I don't care if you fucking believe in National Geographic or not. I don't give a shit, bro. Let's talk about
Well,
it.
I knew it would come up to this, man, because as you came on episode 4, and when I first started doing this, I wanted to just blabber about these fucking dumb conspiracies that I've looked into, and I've looked into them for years. I don't remember a lot of the shit I've looked into now, but now I remember my takeaway, the feeling I had at the end of it, at the end of the rabbit hole. That I do remember, but I don't remember the journey there necessarily. And through this journey of enlightenment, I've had many opinions now that I've collided into just one big opinion, and that one big opinion is that I don't know anything, and I think everything is a lie, because life is not supposed to be this way. And I think that self-conscious and peace within yourself and being able to meditate and the powers that the human has, the ability that we have with our brains, I think that we are so domesticated and out of tune with the true nature of ourselves, which has nothing to do with money. Money is nothing. It is nothing, yet it is everything, and it rules all, but it is nothing. It does not exist.
Well, that's something we talked about last time. Is that we talked about how, especially with our generation, we grew up in a time where job competition is huge. There's so many people on this planet. There's so many fucking people. So many people graduating college. College degrees are much more expensive. You're not guaranteed a job, and this is coming from our parents' generation, where that was the very basic. Like, they're the end, I feel, of the Americana dream, where you went to college and you were able to go to college at a decent price and graduate and get a job with your degree. So I'm not saying you didn't
Right.
have to work for it, but literally it was somewhat guaranteed that you could land in your job of teaching, of science, of being a lawyer, of being a nutritional specialist. Like, but here, there's so much fucking competition. It's so expensive, and not only that, but like once you get out there, you're expected to perform at such a high level for an area that you have zero experience in because you've been doing school. So what I agree and I really see is that we have been given this raw experience of life, is like figuring out things at a totally new level in terms of technology. We've had huge cultural changes in terms of schooling, and I mean, dude, you went through your own shit in terms of high school. You did college. You did somewhat of a military background, and you succeeded well at those things. But it was like it didn't fit what you wanted to fit in life.
Right.
How do you weren't going to get stuck in that. Whereas people might be like, oh, well, like I already started this. This is what I got to end up doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. You know, we're not saying, I'm not dogging on commitment. I'm not dogging on anything. You know, who does 100% understand and believe what they're doing? You know, that's the idea behind it. You know, life. Enjoy what you're doing and believe what you're doing. But, man, life is not the way that it's supposed to be. I think there's many secrets and there's many, many wonders to this world. I was talking to my wife about it the other day. I was like, you know, I think most stories about supernatural shit, like fucking giants and witches and shit like that, fucking trolls, I think is possible to exist on this planet once, dude. I just read some other article the other day about some fucking giant creature they just discovered with its bones, finding that it was, you know, just a bizarre creature the size of a fucking massive whale that could fly. You know what I mean? To me, it sounds like a dragon. You know, it's like that, and that could have existed for just 5 years and then gone. Dude, Leonardo DiCaprio made a documentary about global warming, and in his documentary, he starts out showing pictures and stories of that the natives have told of creatures that are in animals that no longer exist. Like beautiful, beautiful animals, dude. Like different versions of a fox, different versions of elephants that existed for a very short amount of time. So it's very interesting to think how in this age of time we are seeing types of humans and animals fade away, become extinct, but we're not seeing anything begin. We're not seeing anything start. Dude, I think everything is a lie, and the people I recommend looking into to learn more on the journey of enlightenment, dude, is fucking look up Crow House on YouTube.
Yes, I have.
Crow House, have you?
Yes.
That's who I've told you about
before.
What's his name? Having so many brain farts, man. What's his fucking name? I can't remember it. But Crow House, yeah. Crow House on YouTube.
Crow House on YouTube. There's a lot of good videos. It's
forgetting his name.
Not only that, but it's very challenging too, because people get afraid of things that challenge their everyday thinking. And I think also in terms of being successful in this world, you need to be open to the possibilities of anything. It's not saying
Max
you need
Egan.
to believe Max Egan.
Yeah.
Max Egan. Max Egan at Crow House.
Yeah, Max Egan.
Look him up. But it allows you to be successful in so many areas when you're allowed to be open to everything and anything. Doesn't mean that you willingly believe. But if you're allowed to have that perception and possibly have, like, oh, hey, this seems plausible. This seems interesting. Those things can be key factors to your success. And that's what this life is about, is that you have to navigate and live this world to be successful on your own terms and on your own terms of happiness. And I will say, one thing that's kept me close to Lloyd is that he has done that through all obstacles and through a bunch of different circumstances in life. He has found his ways to keys to success and to happiness.
Thank you, man.
And it really is. And when I say this quote
Cheers
to friends
to
all the time, oh, fuck yeah, clash our rain ears together.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together. And I will say Joe Rogan said it, Les Brown said it, a bunch of motivational speakers have said the same quote. You hang around with shitty people and surround yourself with shitty people, you become those shitty people. You hang around with people that are progressive and good and hardworking.
You make your own
challenging.
reality.
Really. And that's what it is. And that's one thing, is that going through high school where you're forced around to be around a bunch of people, you're forced to be around 100 friends, and you think they're all that great. You know, oh, we're tight, we're cool. You head into the real world and you realize that 4 to 8 of them are your real friends.
Yep.
And that's one thing that's kept me close to Lloyd, is that through everything, yes, through through everything, Emery, that your father has just constantly progressed and worked his ass off to make his own happiness, and that is one thing that drives me too. Is just I can get it myself no matter fucking what.
Thank you, man. Much thank you. I can say the same thing about you, Austin. You've changed a lot from high school. You went from, you've always been the most positive person I've ever met. Period. No, I don't think anyone tops your positivity, and it has not since the beginning, dude. I remember talking to people about you, just, yeah, Austin, hey, just always fucking happy. Always happy. But through that, you've shown a breakthrough of like a private personal breakthrough of your own to happiness that I'm fascinated with. You've said things that have stood out to me that make no sense, like the time when you rode your bike apparently all the way to fucking, what's it called, Tacoma Boys or something, and got a couple pairs and rode your bike all the way back. I was like, oh my god, who would do that? And another time when I was at your house and you were like, yeah man, money just doesn't mean anything to me. And like that stuck with me for like 3 years, dude. And I thought about that all the fucking time. Another time, dude, when you came over and you said something about fucking work, we were both working in fiberglass, like, dude,
yes.
your own pursuit of happiness, I find motivating because you only rely on yourself to do it, and it looks like you just enjoy yourself, man, and you're very confident within yourself, and that's motivating.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to word it, man. So cheers.
Cheers to us.
But
And
National
cheers to everybody
Geographic is still
getting
bullshit.
Yeah. They're all full of lies, full of dirty little gremlins being fed after the time of midnight. But yeah,
well,
dude, thank you for tuning
talk
in to
about
Pack
it.
X Pod.
Yeah.
Honestly, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about next
We
time.
do.
I'm sorry I had to cut it short. It's my fault.
It's fine. It is late. We both were holding it up there at the beginning. Well, no, I was late. And
Oh
anyways.
no, we were pretty much on time. But
Yeah.
no.
Anyways, so we're gonna go on to episode 28 next week. We will see you then. Austin and I have we started this. I knew we would start this journey here, and I knew it would take about 20 episodes to get here. But I knew eventually we'd start talking about this deep state shit. You know,
let's get
the
into
deep
it.
stuff. As I'm holding in my hands something very special to me, conspiracy wise.
Blue Planet Project.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. We're gonna look into it. We'll be talking about it next week for episode 29.
So you best tune in.
That's right. Tune
It's
in.
gonna be a minute long episode. It's gonna be long.
It is.
Because you better get your whiskey, get your fucking Rainier, get your beer. We're gonna get deep into it.
You're about to have your fucking mind blown.
Fucking mind blown.
Man, so we'll check you out, guys, next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up. The best thing that we can use is downloads. Share us with your friends. Share us amongst the podcast community. Send the fucking link. Hit us up. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you next week. Put your big boy panties on.